titles on the bounce. A hard team to stop.
Yeah, hard team to stop, but sometimes when you're that double champions, you've got that on the back and everyone's gunning for you. And look, it's a longer tournament now, so there's far more games to be played, but certainly the standard of player that they have, the internationals on the squad, and just a blend of other girls coming in through from that national talent squad, getting a chance to go out and play here and put on a show.
And someone I'm excited to see, someone you've coached this year, Robin O'Connor, starting at fullback today.
Wow, she's unbelievable. She actually played centre for us this year in Belvo, but she could probably play even in the front row. I'd nearly say she's that good. Unbelievable footwork, Kieran, just really good with ball and contact as well, and then the ability to beat players on the outside and get into space.
And on the Scotland side, Hannah Ramsey, she got a bit of a run out in the World Cup for Scotland. A fantastic player. Yeah,
unbelievable player, and you have that squad depth, and as I said, I speak about footwork, but Hannah Ramsey, unbelievable. And to go to World Squad or World Cup, you come back to the squad, you're energised, you want more of that, and you're able to share it with the girls around you, so it'll be brilliant to see what she brings here today.
And it should be a cracker. The last game of the opening round, the Wolfhounds against Edinburgh. We'll be back with you shortly for the full game commentary. Claire, a brand new Celtic Challenge season. What's the mood been like in camp?
Yeah, it's been really positive. I think it's felt like a long time. We've been, a few weeks of training, getting the squad together. So yeah, I think everyone's just excited to actually get going and get cracking in this competition. And
it's a hard first test. The defending champions. How do you get the girls up for a game like this?
I think it's an easy one to get them up for. Playing against the Wolfhounds is always a challenge, but we've had some great battles over the last couple of seasons, and the girls are excited to have a go at, as I say, the two-time champions.
And a really exciting half-back pairing you have today in Love and Ramsey. You must be excited to see them get going today.
Yeah, absolutely. Hannah Ramsey had some exposure at the World Cup with Scotland, and Emily's transitioned to now from in the back three, so it's a new position for her, but we're super excited about her future.
And what are you looking for today from your team?
It's about their performance, being connected and putting together the things that we've worked on in training, and just seeing where we are for the rest of this competition.
Best of luck today.
Thank you very much.
And it's the last game of the opening round of the Celtic Challenge. It's the defending champions back to back, the Wolfhounds, against Edinburgh Rugby. And I'm delighted and thrilled to be joined in the commentary box by a legend of Irish rugby. As a player and now as one of the best coaches on the block, Fiona Hayes, how are you?
Like you're on, I'm delighted to be a cracking game earlier on, so really looking forward to this, although I can see the Dublin wind and rain is getting pretty bad, so hopefully it won't affect the kicking game too much.
The elements always play a factor, and we'll go through the teams shortly. Plenty of talent on both sides today.
And as I said earlier, look at those close games, round one, but certainly I'm looking forward to watching some of these players that I've seen play AIL. On the Wolfhounds, you've got Poppy Garvey, who's been unbelievable for Redwood Union. We spoke about Robin O'Connor earlier, some exciting talent. Then you have Hannah Walker. Piece is going to be pivotal today, especially with the weather like that. We know the kicking game between Hannah Ramsey and Dana. It's going to be really good, but certainly looking forward to that.
Now I'll go through the teams. Tight heads, Sophie Barrett starts another Celtic Challenge season. Nisha Smith and Kate Jordan are in the engine room. Munster captain Maeve O'Leary continues her inspiring journey from injury in the back row. It's an all-Irish internationals in the halfbacks. Aoibhinn Riley at 9 and Dana O'Brien at 10. Captain in the Wolfhounds this year is Aoife Dalton in the centre, and it's an exciting back three of Maggie Boylan, Vicky Elms-Kinlan and Robin O'Connor. And plenty of talent on the bench as well. Amy Larn and Stacey Flood, brilliant players to be able to bring on.
Yeah, so good. I'm looking at the strength of the bench here. You have Linda Gang as well. Cleveland Cooker's been playing very well with Blackrock, and Jade Gaffney I've coached myself in Old Belvedere, so there's some really good talent. And that's the way the game has gone, Kieran, as well. It's the bench come on and make an impact, and we saw with the game earlier as well with the Clovers.
The modern day bomb squad. And we'll go through the second team now of Edinburgh. Claire Cruikshank, the coach this season. In the pack, Faye Sutherland makes her first start for the club at tight head prop, passing move from the back row, starting alongside Talia Tawaki and hooker Aliyah Ronald. The Capital Engine Room has a familiar look with Scotland international Adele Ferry and Natasha Logan partnering one another at lock. Alex Stewart returns in the back row after a successful Rugby World Cup, and in that back row with her is Kat Moody and Mervyn Gunderson at number 8. It's a Watson half-back pairing of Emily Love and Hannah Ramsey. Rachel Phillips and Lucy McRae offer power in the centre, and in the back 3, Hannah Walker captains the side on the left wing. But we talked about some of these girls that have played in the World Cup with Scotland. Hannah Ramsey was involved in and around the camp. Alex Stewart as well in the back row. Plenty of talent as well.
Yeah, so much talent, and we said it earlier, but what they can bring back from being away at a World Cup is something special to this Edinburgh Rugby team, because they're in that environment, they're there for weeks on end, and they're just eat, drink, sleep rugby. So we'll see that, I think, in effect here today when we see this game.
And for a lot of these girls, it's their first hit out since the Rugby World Cup if they're not playing domestically in their leagues.
Yeah, absolutely, and you've seen, you know, they try and protect them because it's such a huge season ahead. We know internationals, there's more and more games coming into women's rugby, so certainly some of them in particular, I know in the Wolfhounds have had a long break, and especially if you look at that Irish side, how they went out in the World Cup, they'll be itching to get back out there and fix a few wrongs, especially in that centre of Eve Higgins and Aoife Dalton.
It was heartbreaking in the end, almost had France.
Yeah, it was, but look, I think it's you talk about it a lot, and as a coach I'd say it also, it's about getting out and just putting that to bed and going out and putting in a big performance. Yes, they'll have to wait for the Six Nations to do that as a group together, but certainly playing rugby here in Energia Park will make it, just a little bit more relaxed.
But it's also the start of a new cycle, so for some girls it's their opportunity to push themselves into that green circle.
Yeah, and I think you can see in both teams that they've kind of had a blend of youth in there as well. We've seen, you look at India Daly, I mean, she's really, really good, up and coming. I'm excited at looking at her. Sophie Barrett didn't feature much in the World Cup, but there's certainly talent there. And you have the same over Kat Movie, Alex Stewart, you spoke about her, what she brings in that back row, but it's about the blend and how they play together. And it's such a long competition now that they'll get a chance to try out a few pairings, and you're always going to be trying to push yourself forward to get on that national team.
And a special mention for Maeve O'Leary. She's had a hard time with injuries the last couple of seasons, but she was excellent for Munster in the Interpros, led them back to the title, and now she's lined out for the Wolfhounds today.
Yeah, what a player. I've had the pleasure of coaching Maeve Ogan. She's unbelievable. An out-and-out 7, injury plagued for a while, but she's got back playing with Blackrock the last season, and she wasn't in that Ireland environment. She kind of stepped away, and you saw her playing week in, week out in the AL, and I think she developed her love for rugby back, because certainly watching her with Blackrock this season and also watching her play for Munster, you can see she's enjoying the game, and that's what you want.
And here come Edinburgh, led out by their captain Walker. And a good away support. You can hear a few Edinburgh roars there.
Absolutely, I love the Scottish accent. I can hear him shouting, but it's such a great tournament. The fans, it's only across the water, so the fans can come over. You can see it, parents, family, whatever, friends, but it's brilliant to see them here today in Energia Park.
Well, that's kind of what this competition is aiming to do, kind of bridge that gap, and almost like a URC for the women's game.
Yeah, look, and obviously it's in its third year running, and we can see the standard is getting better and better. You spoke about players in other teams as well that are coming back from playing in the Premiership and coming back to play here. So it's a huge tournament. It's getting bigger, and that's what you want. You want to be able to. This product is good. It's ready to be watched, and I think the standard in the last year has certainly come up, and I'm really excited about this game.
And it will be Dan O'Brien to get us underway. And it's Padraig Reedy, the man in the middle today. And an Irish pairing in the half-backs, Aoibhinn Riley and Dan O'Brien. They've been there and done it together a lot in recent times. And it's taken in by the Edinburgh forward, the number 8 Gunderson. The Wolfhounds having to make their first up tackles. Ramsey engages her centre for the first time. And they might just feel each other out in the early going, but there's a loose ball. The hooker does well to clean it up. Does Ronald. But Ramsey clears her lines. But the Wolfhounds will have their first opportunity to run it back now. Through the fullback, Robin O'Connor, a woman you know well, Fiona.
Yeah, just even watching her footwork there, she's so accelerates into it like Aoife Dalton here on the outside. It's brilliant to watch.
And they've got such a good back line through the Wolfhounds. And Aoife Riley, she was in the commentary box with me last season, but back in the Wolfhounds colours this season. Eve Higgins tips it on to Barrett, but well intercepted by the Edinburgh second row, Logan. But the Wolfhounds get the penalty. And an early chance to open the scoring maybe.
Yeah, you wonder, they might try and settle it down and kick for posts, or no, it looks like Dana's looking at the corner, but certainly you can see what the Wolfhounds want to do. They go wide, they're trying to get into their shape, almost created, I suppose, some space there in the middle. Sophie Bard had her hands ready for the tip on, but brilliant by Logan to just get in that backfield and get in the way of that. But unbelievable then from the Wolfhounds, I suppose, to get that turnover, to give them that penalty at the breakdown. It's an area they're very, very good at.
And India Daly, she's been so consistent in the AIL, and she's getting her opportunity today from the start.
Yeah, she's a brilliant player to watch. Even with Ulster, she's just immense. Probably throwing wise, you wouldn't, it's not that she's not great. I think it's improved so much, whereas always around the park she is so good. If she can nail that throwing and set piece, it'll be unbelievable.
Here they come. O'Leary took it at the line out, and they're still going, are the Wolfhounds. Can they find an early try? Asking questions of this defence. Coming right, here's Barrett, so impressive in the loose, and she scores, and Sophie Barrett opens the scoring. And that's a try you could be proud of.
Absolutely unbelievable there for the tight edge. But just when you also thought she was getting it a bit high with her ability to drop and do that spin and a one-handed place over the line to score the try. Now if I was the coach, I'd be nervous seeing it in one hand, but she's unbelievable, and you can see she's well able to power on. Look how square she is in that carry and how dominant she is, but her awareness to know where the try line is as well, Kieran.
The modern day front row now though, they have to be good with the ball and not just in the scrums.
Yeah, that's it, and we've seen it in international rugby. I think we know best from the South Africans. They're unbelievable in the loose and in that scrum and set piece, but certainly I think the way the game has gone, you have to be on the money with that.
And Dana O'Brien adds the extras, simple as you like for her, 7-0. And like I said earlier, Aoife Riley, Dana O'Brien, they've done a lot together for Ireland.
Yeah, they just play off each other really well. Aoife Riley is someone I think is unbelievable. She obviously was injured a couple of seasons ago, but her ability to bounce back and her partnership with Dana is excellent to watch.
And Robin O'Connor collects that one. The Wexford woman, made in the southeast. The Wolfhounds did the double over Edinburgh last season. O'Brien might go to the boot. She does exactly that. Here comes the chase. It's hanging up into the sky. Aoife Dalton takes it. But Edinburgh do well to wrestle the ball back. Here's Love to her second row. Ferry. Ramsey, what a year she's had. But Wolfhounds looking set in defence here. No gaps appearing. And there's the knock on, but that all comes from the defensive pressure by the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, really good double hits by the Wolfhounds. You can see they're trying to slow it down and not let Edinburgh get into their shape as well.
O'Brien gives it to Dalton. What a moment for Aoife Dalton as well, captaining the side this season.
Yeah, she's so good, an unbelievable player, but just a really good person as well. And you can see her calming influence whenever she talks, and she exudes it on the pitch as well. Look at her here, she's just carrying so hard. Everything she does is 100%.
The Wolfhounds looking to go down that short side again through Dalton, but this time it's Edinburgh who are making the tackles. Stewart and Moody working harder, the two back rows. They're not making any ground at the moment, the Wolfhounds, so they might need to get rid of it, and they do exactly that through O'Brien. And it's a good kick, and that's what O'Brien gives you. She's that common presence.
Yeah, but it's just really good. If you watch it, there's a couple of phases there where the Wolfhounds want to attack, they want to go forward, but they weren't getting that gain line. So her decision making to drop into the pocket and kick that ball away, and really good boot as well here. You can see the luck of the bounce and the wind is here, but she gives you that. She always gives you a good 40-45 metre kick, and that relieves the pressure as well.
And a messy line out, and the Wolfhounds pounce through Smith. The Wolfhounds definitely have settled the better of the two sides in the opening 7 minutes. O'Brien, here's Higgins. What a centre partnership those two are. O'Connor straightens the line. Boylan springs into action. They're making meters into that 22 now. Riley wants quick ball. They go down the short side. Riley snipes herself. They're lining up Jordan this time. They all want to bite, but that's a steal, but illegally so. And a coach killer penalty to give away.
Yeah, by Ronald there. I think even the ruck was formed to go in there. But look, she's chancing her arm early on to see what the referee will let you away with. But certainly,
the waters.
Exactly, I think we've all done it at one stage, but certainly I think it was fully formed ruck there, and the referee made the correct decision. And you don't want to give this Wolfhounds team easy possession, easy territory, so you will be frustrated as a coach with that, especially because it's inside in their 22, and it gives them a chance now to go to the line out, which was superb in their try previous.
They'll be licking their lips. Daly with hands on ball goes to a second row this time. Smith. Daly at the back, in the back seat. Her forwards are doing the work, but she'll get the plaudits. A hooker special, and the maul pays dividends.
Yeah, really good maul there, but you can see Edinburgh decided not to go up in the line. It was actually a crooked throw, but because they didn't go up, Nisha Smith was able to get her hands on the ball. It gave them more time to go down and settle, and just the sheer power. You can see India Daly at the back, but she's constantly looking up, trying to see where the line is and stay with her pack. Brilliant.
Piece is crucial.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, even as a coach, I'd sit here and think that you could do that different, but certainly with the maul in particular, whatever way a team is going to defend, you don't know how they're going to hit you, so just getting low and getting set very, very early is essential, and the Wolfhounds the last two times have been very good at that.
O'Brien lines this one up. But that one did not go over the bar. So 12-0 is the score, but a brilliant start for the Wolfhounds, showing their champions pedigree already.
Yeah, look, I think, Kieran, sometimes in games like this, the first game back, things can be a bit sloppy, but they've actually been really, really good. As I said, they're getting into their shape nice and early. Everybody is communicating. There's good chat going on. And when they're carrying, Poppy Garvey in particular has had a couple of big carries. When they're carrying really hard.
Poppy Garvey came from that impressive Connacht underage system that was very successful.
Yeah, I've been watching her here. She's playing with Railway Union, but just even in the background, listening to her, she's constantly talking to the forwards, trying to get them in together, trying to get that shape. And we saw Nisha Smith in the previous Edinburgh line out get her hand on it, and who was there, Poppy, to catch it and carry. Such a good player, but it's her physical dominance around the breakdown I like watching. She really goes in and tries to mess it up, and I know that as an opposition coach.
And Smith gets up and disrupts that one, and Wolfhounds put Edinburgh back on their heels with the kick, and the fullback under all sorts of pressure does well to get it away, but Vicky Elms-Quinlan's tracking, but Aoife Dalton goes low with the tackle, and they're just a bit unsettled at the moment, Edinburgh. Sloppy passes, just the nerves getting to them.
Yeah, and I think Stuart will be a bit frustrated with that. I think it was there and she was looking up. Could have been a possible line break. But yes, when you go away from home and you're all that travel, it's trying to settle into the game, and they just seem to haven't done that yet. But certainly you can see from the kick here, they're being put under massive pressure by Dana's boot as well.
And in the middle of the festive calendar as well, can throw a spanner in the works too.
Absolutely, you might be thinking about their Christmas dinner early, Kieran.
Again, a messy line out, but the Wolfhounds regather. But there's a loose ball, they've lost meters now. Eve Higgins has a bit of thinking to do. And here's O'Connor, the dancing feet. But Edinburgh do really well. Gunderson, the number 8, who got in the passing channel there.
Yeah, that's a couple of times they're after getting in the passing channel, so they certainly know that Wolfhounds are trying to keep the ball alive, trying to offload it, and they seem to be reading that really well.
O'Connor can run it back now if she wants to, but she uses her out half and Dan O'Brien.
Keep going now.
O'Brien sticks it up. And again, it's a tester for the Edinburgh backfield. And taken from an offside position, and the Wolfhounds get a penalty. But again, it's Dan O'Brien. She's just throwing the boot at it. Nothing too fancy, but it does the job.
No, and in this wind as well, it's you can see it's very hard to catch, and certainly I think Edinburgh be frustrated with that. They're looking at the ball, maybe not even retreating enough. We see there that it was offside ahead of the kicker picking it up, that knock on, but they just need to settle into this game, because as I said, you can see Dana's kick there just inside her half.
Every metre for that as well.
Unbelievable.
Right in the red zone.
Yeah, and their last 3 lineouts, they've mauled it over, and you'd certainly, or there 2 in particular, you'd certainly be thinking they're going to go the same way again today.
And what's Daly's option going to be for this line out? Scored from this sort of situation about 5 minutes ago. O'Leary goes up, Riley tidies. They're on the doorstep looking for try number 3. O'Leary always hungry for work. It's in her DNA. Daly already has one, would love another. They go out to the backs, but O'Brien and Higgins get their wires crossed. And a missed opportunity and a chance for Edinburgh to clear their lines here.
Yeah, they'll be frustrated with that, because there was so much space on the right hand side and you could see what they were trying to do, but unfortunately they just got in each other's way. A little bit of miscommunication around it.
And Edinburgh get the penalty as well.
Yeah, I think the referees called that offside, so when they turned over the ball there was someone ahead of the kicker, but Edinburgh missed kick again, and we see Robin
straight into the hands of Robin O'Connor, and she's not a player you want to be inviting back onto you. Dalton. They have options to the left here, do the Wolfhounds. O'Connor teases the pass but goes herself. They've got plenty of confidence, do the Wolfhounds, but a great effort on the ground there, and Edinburgh get the steal and the penalty to go with it.
Yeah, really good work there on the ground. You can see Edinburgh trying to build themselves back into this game, and they're almost happy at the minute for the Wolfhounds to have the ball, because when they're in that contact area, really well defensed, you can see she just gets in over the ball. Bell, hands may have been on the ground, but the referee I think said that the clear out was also in the side from the Wolfhounds, so really good breakdown there.
Who says the wingers don't like the dirty work?
Yeah, definitely there. It was unbelievable. She got her body height so low to try and latch onto that ball.
That's a better line out from Edinburgh. The centre, McRae. The loose head is next, driving the legs, giving her team go forward. But this time Aoife Dalton storms out of the line, eats up the attacker. Tawaki offering herself, getting into the game now. And Edinburgh just trying to build the phases. Dalton again gets praised for her attacking ability a lot, but she's as good in defence, but as I say that, the penalty is awarded.
Yeah, I think that was a slight bit harsh.
50-50 one there.
Yeah, I think it was a bit harsh. I thought she done superb. I mean, that defensive read just pre that was unbelievable. She just got herself in there and made a huge hit. You could almost hear the crunch in the stands. Here we see it. Look at that, unbelievable. I'd say she's been waiting since the World Cup to put in one of those hits, and very unlucky at the breakdown there. I think the referee said her hands touched the grass before she went on the ball, but look, sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't.
It's been a long 3 months for those players. You can do as much training as you like, but nothing beats game time. But an overthrow, and the Wolfhounds steal it. Riley composed at the base. 1 or 2 phases and out might be the plan here. But Higgins loves to run it, and she'll prove me wrong. O'Brien, Elmskinlin, but a forward pass. And is that to do with the conditions, or is that just a playing error?
Yeah, I think it's just an error. We see it started earlier in the phase. Avian Riley gave a pass. She was trying to give it to Dana, so you were correct. I think they were trying to exit or give it to Dana to make a decision around that. Because it went behind her, Eve got the ball. Then the attack just got very static, and probably Vicky Elmskinlin just overran it there. But certainly, I think it's been good defensive pressure as well here from Edinburgh. Really good. We saw, Stewart and Moody. Moody in particular got herself up there and got in the mix.
And a great attacking platform for Edinburgh. Probably the best of the game so far for them.
Yeah, I think this could be our first scrum of the game, my favourite area as well, so I'm excited to see what happens in here.
That's why I'm delighted for you to be beside me today, because I know nothing about the scrums.
I think I know everything. That could be a problem as well.
And the second row gets them going forward.
Thank you.
Does Ferry. And here's Stewart, the Scottish international. Ronald. But again, the Wolfhounds, they look comfortable without the ball. Happy to make their tackles.
Yeah, and they're not getting caught up in that ruck area. They're making really good decisions about going in and trying to slow it down or not.
And Walker steps back inside, the captain today for Edinburgh. And they force the pass. And the knock on comes, and here's O'Leary. She's got that determined face. Comes from great rugby stock. Her brother Shane, an international for Canada. O'Brien goes long. And it's the Wolfhounds this time who come out the wrong side of the kicking duel.
Yeah, I'd be frustrated. There was touch, so everybody was onside, I think, there. But McLean very, very unlucky there, because it was just a little swirl in the wind just as it was coming down. But really well done there by Ramsey in the backfield.
Ramsey, another player who made her debut for Scotland in the summer. Made her first start actually against Ireland in that game, pre-World Cup.
Yeah, look, and it's a hard place to go into at international level 10. I mean, we've seen it over the years. There's so much pressure on the shoulders, but for her, I think as such a young player, she's definitely growing and growing.
Here come Edinburgh now, but another loose ball, but that went backwards. Phillips goes for it. They've got options, but again, the line speed of the Wolfhounds, led by their captain Aoife Dalton, causes all sorts of problems, and Boylan hot on their heels. And just messy rugby at the moment.
Yeah, I really feel like it's the wind. Probably you mightn't see it so much on the TV, but there is a wicked wind that keeps coming up there, and especially when the ball is bouncing in that backfield. We've seen 2 or 3 phases, but look at the line speed out of Aoife Dalton here. Unbelievable. Just so good, and it's
leads by example.
Leads by example. That's exactly what you want from your captain, and we can see it here, almost a basketball bounce. I thought the referee might have missed that one, but certainly I think the touchy came in and showed it. But certainly I think in defence the Wolfhounds would be very, very happy, and Edinburgh in attack at times. When we saw those one-out runners, Tawaki hitting a straight hard line, they're quite good, but in that kind of attack shape, it's very hard for them to get over the gain line, especially when the Wolfhounds have that defence set up and ready to go.
And it's great to see a crowd out before Christmas. to watch this game on both sides.
Yeah, and there's a few hats in the crowd as well because it's absolutely freezing here. But certainly I think the standard of rugby is so good, and as I said, it's getting better and better. So from the previous game as well, I'd imagine a lot of people probably stayed on to watch this because the standard and the tries scored were unbelievable.
And that's the thing, this competition is still very much in the early stages. Will only get better year on year.
Yeah, and look, all the teams have bought in now, and you can see the funding, everything, the fully squads, how they're going about it. It's a huge scrum here from Edinburgh.
Edinburgh apply the pressure, but the Wolfhounds do really well to get it away. Look at Aoibhinn Riley, she's away, she has the support, but Vicky Elms-Kinlan, she's caught by Walker, and the captain with a big intervention for her club there to stop Vicky Elms-Kinlan from getting the try. But the Wolfhounds still they've got a pep in their step. O'Brien cross field, and try time. O'Brien spotted the spare player, and Maggie Boylan in the corner.
Yeah, beautiful kick by Dan O'Brien, but Maggie Boylan's been doing this all season in the AIL, waiting out on that try line.
Top try scorer in the AIL this season.
Yeah, she's been unbelievable, but it's her ability to stay out, hug the touchline, her patience out there. You can see Dana called it, and she'd loads of time, but certainly in this swirling wind, it's very hard to catch it, and that little inside-out step was unbelievable to score in the corner as well.
And a great tackle by Walker to deny Vicky Elms-Kinlan the try, but Wolfhounds stayed patient. They went to width, and O'Brien with the crossfield kick, and Boylan continuing her fine scoring form.
Yeah, I think Robin O'Connor was waiting for the ball back inside, but Maggie was not giving it there. She's in fire at the minute with scoring tries.
And O'Brien, that one's short, so 17-0 the score. But O'Brien showing her skill set there.
Yeah, it's really good, Dana. She's varying up her game, especially inside in the 22. She's not going straight to boot. She had a view there. She could see that there was an overlap of players, and even without an advantage, it was certainly worth a shot. And Maggie, of course, can score the try in the corner, which they've probably been doing in the training field all week long.
Always in.
Donna O'Brien chips one over the top, but well covered by Emily Love, the scrum half.
No hands there.
Maggie Boylan, 12 tries in the AIL this season, and here she comes again.
Yeah, all's out.
They do well juggling with that one. Is the front row. Eve Higgins gives it to her out half. This is good backline play. Aoife Dalton, so dangerous, tries to squeeze through a gap, but Edinburgh keep her out.
Ball is here, we're pushing it in.
But Wolfhounds, very connected, very aligned at the moment, working very well between forwards and backs. But as I say that, the commentators curse and Edinburgh get the penalty.
Yeah, that was just a brilliant read in defence. Really good. There you can see, I think it was Logan, but it's the ability. Yes, the Wolfhounds are going into their shape and they're playing it, but you could see there, because Maeve Ogue had missed that and went to the outside step, they missed that clear out on the outside, which gave Logan the chance to come in and have a look at that.
Opening the door.
Right. Okay, turn back on.
So I think they will be, Wolfhounds, for all their attack, they'll be frustrated at probably that breakdown area, whereas Edinburgh have been very good in reading that. You see the likes of Moody, Stewart, they have been getting in there and causing havoc, but certainly I think how they're protecting their ball at half time, there will be a conversation, because the line breaks they're making are unbelievable, and you just don't want to give it up too cheaply.
And once the Wolfhounds build a strong lead, it's very hard to wrestle it back off them.
Yeah, look, and of course, like, they have 3 tries, they are going to be happy, but just as, you know, from an attack perspective, with those line breaks, you do not want to be losing the ball.
You are a perfectionist, Fiona.
Yeah, sometimes maybe not, but Alex Stewart there, that was a great line out take. I think Edinburgh's line out, when they get in and get settled, you can see they have the ability.
It's
some
the
really
building
good
block.
it's some good players to aim for, but just with the wind, I think they've got to look at that. And certainly there we saw Stewart, the wind died out and it was perfect.
And now as we're talking about the wind takes that one all the way over the line, and the Wolfhounds will come back for the scrum.
Yeah, that's frustrating from Edinburgh. You could see that there was space in the backfield. She was trying to kick through and go there, but with the wind you can never tell. Certainly here today it carried it the whole way, and Edinburgh probably won't be too, obviously they're back in their own half, but certainly the last scrum they had against the Wolfhounds, they went rightly after them, and probably the Wolfhounds
almost looked like they had the upper hand.
Yeah, they were slightly too high, I think, so they'll try and bring that down, but Edinburgh from that last scrum I think will really go after this.
Aoibhinn Riley to feed. Ball in the slow, RFC. So many talented players have come from that one tiny club.
It's madness. It's just something in the water up there because they're so talented. I've seen how many have we got on the Irish squads.
On both sides of the coin, women's and men's rugby. The Devine brothers, of course, as well from Connacht.
Yeah, some unbelievable players.
Everyone's hungry for work at the moment from the Wolfhounds. Nobody afraid to take the ball on. Higgins so often stands at first receiver. But they lose a bit of ground. Aoibhinn Riley just taking the sting out of it. Getting reset. Here's Barrett. O'Brien goes low for that one. But Edinburgh making their tackles at the moment. Slow ball for the Wolfhounds. Maybe running out of ideas a little bit.
Yeah, they're not breaking through that gain line as much as they have in the first couple of minutes of the game. So you can see that Edinburgh are fanning out. They're probably not wasting as many people in taking that breakdown.
Eve Higgins is taken down. But Barrett always makes you a metre or two. But she's swallowed up. And again, like you said, the back row effort from Edinburgh has been excellent.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. Ronald there, she just got into that really low body position, couldn't be moved off the ball. But I think it's those connections in the carry that when one is, if there's a tip onto the outside or if the ball is moved, they're struggling to make that and clear out that outside player, and that's where this Edinburgh team are finding holes in the attack.
A lot of one-off running from the Wolfhounds in that last play.
Yeah, probably you can see it here. It just gets in over the ball, so they were lucky here. But you can see Ronald, she's waiting in that backfield. As I spoke, there's no outside cleaner, so it's a little bit too slow, and she's already made that her contact with the ball. And someone like Ronald in that low body position, so hard to move him.
And now it's Edinburgh who have a line out in attacking territory. Ronald started her rugby journey in Deeside Rugby Club in northeast Scotland at the age of 7. She played there until 2015 before moving to Dundee under 18s. She's also been a competitive swimmer, so disciplined.
Yeah, definitely discipline, and you can see the strength even, you know, from swimming. You'd imagine all that training, but the strength you saw there in that last breakdown passage and how low she got, and she was unmovable on that ball. Tawaki, you can see she's down here injured as well. I think she's had a very good start to the game. Her scrummaging has been good. She's been super low. She's been really targeting Sophie Barrett in the last couple of scrums, but certainly her carries in the open have been unbelievable, and it's the footwork. She's not just running into the contact.
Dynamic.
Very, very dynamic on the ball.
Looks like a slight finger injury, but she's all strapped up. The magic tape works wonders again.
Absolutely, the best thing you can have is that tape.
Good take at the line out. Now they can build Edinburgh. Ronald at the back. And it's moving forward. She decides to take it out, does the young hooker. Can they get their first score? Well, they have another penalty. They might decide to go quick, or will they go back down that line? Well, they're just stalling, so they'll maybe go for another line out.
Yeah, I think they'll go down the line. The Wolfhounds didn't contest that last line out, but certainly with this wind, you'd want to get someone up in the air because you really want to test a hooker and reiterate, I suppose, to the referee that it has to be down the line. And if you don't get anybody up in the air, then that's irrelevant. So certainly, I think they need to push someone up here. Poppy Garvey's down, has hurt her ankle, but in general, I think maybe that's why she wasn't lifted the last time. In general, she seems to be getting up, and Nisha Smith as well.
Just to throw something else in the eye line sometimes at that last second for the hooker.
Yeah, definitely, but it's just, even with the new laws, we saw like there's definitely been 2 Wolfhound throws that have been crooked, but because they haven't been contested,
not capitalising on it.
Yeah, because it's not being contested, then obviously it's play on. So I think to even just put pressure on in this wind, even if it's just a half a lift, it's to get someone up there. And certainly Nisha Smith, I've coached her myself at Old Belvo. She's unbelievable. She's a young player, but she loves the line out. That's an area of the game she's really trying to focus on, and you can see she's super tall. If you can get her lifted in the air, she's very good lean across to disrupt things.
And they're right on the doorstep now, Edinburgh. This is the time. Can they produce the end product?
Yeah, we're seeing a shot of the backs. I'm not sure they'll get the ball this close to the line. We see a +1. You can see there that Moody is staying out, so I'd imagine they're trying to maul it.
Logan goes up, but it's an overthrow, and the Wolfhounds come away with it. Frustrating for Edinburgh. Their best chance of the game so far, and it's been wasted.
Yeah, and look, you can blame the wind. I mean, it is quite windy down there, but that was way over, so it might have just picked it up last minute. I think in conditions like this, certainly 5 metres out, if you could just keep it very simple. And I know they're trying to move it away. They want to move it away from where their defence jumpers are, so they're going to maul into better space. But certainly, I think it's harsh.
But they're still right where they'd want to be, and they have another chance now to get things right. But again, problems at the line out, but Tawaki tidies it up.
Yeah, complete miscommunication there. You could see 2 people were lifting and 2 were jumping, so it didn't go as well. But Tawaki, very good to get her hands on the ball.
Not the worst result in the world. Phillips throws herself into the line. Love has options. Here's Sutherland, a name synonymous with front rows in Scotland rugby at the moment.
Yeah, some very good front rows, yeah, Rory, some unbelievable. You can see the breakdown as well. The Wolfhounds are getting slightly frustrated. Maeve Oak had her hands on the ball, he isn't calling, but they're certainly defensively getting out and really putting pressure on. You can see when the ball's lifted, they're all up.
And they've lost a bit of ground. Phillips again. But the Wolfhounds happy enough. Disciplined in defence. No penalties will be the big message at the moment. Stay disciplined, make our tackles, and we'll get the ball back.
Yeah, 100%. You can see here there's a knock on there, and you almost felt like that if there was 5-6 phases that this Wolfhound defence would still be able to cope with the pressure. I think Edinburgh probably, when they're playing flat, we saw Tawaki there and carrying the ball, they're able to get over the gain line, but when they're going out the back door, when they're, I suppose there's no bit of innovativeness in that. You can see that the Wolfhounds are pressing up and really making sure they don't get past that gain line in defence.
The Wolfhounds back-to-back champions, of course, yet to be dethroned. Can they make it 3 titles in a row? But again, Edinburgh coming in strong, applying the pressure, flexing the muscles, and they get the penalty as their reward. And maybe Stewart was unlucky. Maybe she should have been allowed to get away there.
Yeah, I actually thought he might have left it go because they had turned over the ball. There was no one, didn't seem to fall down, so I'd say he knows himself, the referee probably should have let it play. But if it is a scrum penalty like that, I think it wasn't from the mark. That's why he wasn't letting her take the quick tap there.
You would have been jumping up and down if you were the opposition coach there.
Unbelievable scrum. You can see the second shunt, as we call it. So they got in, they got nice and low, they get underneath the Wolfhounds pack, but it's here, you can see it, it's that lift and drive. And as I said, from the first scrum, they could see a slight weakness in height, and they're really going after it now.
That's the one area of the game they'll be really happy with. They look the stronger of the two sides when it comes to scrum time.
Yeah, and you said Faye Sutherland had moved from the back row up into the front row, but certainly she looks really at home at tight head, because it's their height that's impressing me the most. You can see when they get in there and get that hit in, you can see slightly there now, a little bit high, but it's the sink here. They get down and are able to dominate there.
Gunderson takes it from the back. Ramsey floats one over, and the winger Bell goes straight into the tackler, Robin O'Connor, and she's the speed bump that knocks her into touch.
Yeah, unbelievable for Robin O'Connor there. She just got herself in the way, but really good footwork on the outside by Bell. You can see she just got Maggie Boylan, got a little bit flat-footed there when she thought she was going to step inside her, and brilliant from Robin O'Connor with the help of Aoibhinn Riley as well.
Still a bit of work to do for the Wolfhounds though.
Yeah, look, in these conditions, I think it's hard to when it comes to that line of 5 metres out, you see here it's very hard to regain it, and unfortunately they didn't get up and get it there.
And a good steal from Ferry at the line out. Stewart wants a bite. 33 minutes on our clock. Edinburgh yet to score. Is this the moment? Attack versus defence.
Super hit there, double hit, unbelievable.
They might have to think outside the box if they're going to unlock this defence. They go wide, Bell again, but she's double teamed. Front up work now, all forwards. Stewart, penalty advantage, free play. Maybe test the waters here, but they're sticking to task. Route 1 still going, and they get the try, and Edinburgh, they're on the board.
Yeah, so good. Kat Moody, I think, with that try, but really good height in the contact area. They picked and go'd and put the speed of that pick and go, put the Wolfhounds defence under pressure, and you can see on that last one how low and how hard it was to stop from that angle. Brilliant from Edinburgh.
Edinburgh stuck to task, and it's Kat Moody who comes up with the ball, and the score as well, 17-5. And that's just a confidence builder heading into the break.
30 seconds now.
Yeah, 100%. It's like 5 minutes to half time. If they can hold the Wolfhounds out with this wind and everything, I think going in you'll be a happy coach if you're the Edinburgh coach, because obviously things at the start, they looked a little bit flustered, there was some handling errors, but as the game has gone on, they've settled into that, and when they get in their shape and those physical contact areas, I think they are dominating the Wolfhounds in that area.
And McRae makes it a 10-point game from the kick and tee, and it's been a closer game maybe than what the scoreline suggests.
Yeah, I think to be fair, I do think the Wolfhounds are comfortable in how they're defending and they're attacking. Where they'll be really frustrated is that breakdown and how many times Edinburgh have turned them over when they are attacking. But certainly I think as the game goes on, this Wolfhounds will look to wear down Edinburgh, because they've certainly defensively, they're way more up for it now.
O'Brien goes quickly with that restart, catches them off guard, and here's O'Connor. The Wexford woman drags them into the 22. So hard to stop.
So good. That leg drive is unbelievable to watch.
But a loose ball disrupts the move, and Edinburgh will have the scrum. But Robin O'Connor, they've had two players on her the whole game, because they know if she gets into open space, they're in trouble.
Yeah, look at this fight in the contact area. I mean, there's two tacklers, and she's the ability to stay on her feet and still go down and get that ball back to present it. We talked about her pre-match and her footwork, but it's that leg drive area. So even when she's in the contact area, how good she is to keep on her feet and just keep going after those defenders.
Having a player like her must make the move from Limerick to the south side of Dublin a little bit easier.
I wish she got to play with me more than she does. Obviously, she's on that sevens team, so we've only had her for a couple of games. But yeah, she's so
Scored
good.
plenty of tries though in those couple of games.
Absolutely. You know, I'm crying every time I know she's gone. But there's just some talented players there. But certainly, since I came up to Limerick, she's just unbelievable trainer as well.
Ramsey does well, steps her way out of trouble. And here come Edinburgh. Fast rugby. All comes from the out half, Hannah Ramsey. But the Wolfhounds work hard on the ground, and it's Vicky Elms-Kinlan who wins them the penalty. And Vicky Elms-Kinlan, unlucky to miss out in the Irish World Cup squad in the summer. An exciting player, made her debut last season against Australia.
Yeah, definitely. She's very, very physical, and for a winger as well, you can see it here. She's super fast, but it's her physicality in and around that breakdown area, and for her to get that turnover. There's not a lot of wingers that can get that close to the ground and get their body into that height, but certainly she's someone that is exciting, and I've seen her playing with Wicklow, and when she's with them, she just absolutely brings the team along with her. You know, you can see she can light it up, and she scored a couple of tries from, I think, inside her own 5 metre line a couple of times this year.
That's a great steal from Edinburgh at the line out. The second row Ferry got up that time. Gunderson. Edinburgh
Take him back.
might look to relieve themselves, and they do that through Ramsey. Here's Elms-Kinlan again. She looks to run it back, but she runs into traffic. Riley goes down this short side. The Wolfhounds just on halfway. They go to the skies through O'Brien. Hanging high into the winter sky. O'Brien might look to kick again, but she does well. Stays away from the defender. O'Leary a little bit isolated on the ground. Stewart's all over that one. Hot on it. And Stewart wins the penalty. And like you were saying earlier, O'Leary isolated on the ground, no support, and Stewart was there to pounce.
Yeah, and Edinburgh are doing really well in that area. As I said, it's a frustrating thing for the Wolfhounds, and they'll probably have to look at that at half time. But you can see what they're trying to do. When they lose their shape, the Wolfhounds, Edinburgh spot it straight away. They get in those back row players. You know, you've got Stewart, you've got Moody. They're all waiting for them to fall, be isolated, and they're latching onto that ball. And Ronald as well in that front row. She's been unbelievable in that breakdown area.
Could they get a score just before half time? That would make things really interesting. But again, the Wolfhounds get up, and it's happened for both sides today. Issues at the line out.
Yeah, I think both teams are reading it really well. If you look, it was very clear. I think Edinburgh weren't going to that front.
And the wind swirls. And messy ball. But that's all a product of the elements. And that's the half-time whistle. 17-7 the score. And it's the Wolfhounds who lead. But a good game of rugby so far.
Yeah, look, it's as I said, the conditions aren't great here, but certainly there has been a couple of errors, handling errors. But as the game has gone on, you can see it's almost becoming a chess piece or a chess game at that breakdown in particular. They're trying to feel each other out, and I think that's an area where Edinburgh are on top at the breakdown and certainly in the scrum. Wolfhounds will be happy when they've counter-attacked the likes of Robin O'Connor. You've seen the footwork, you can see what they can do, and certainly that maul when they get it, it's really good and hard to stop.
A brilliant first half of rugby. 17-7 the score. The Wolfhounds beginning their reign as two-time champions, and they're in the lead by 10 points. And we'll take you through the tries now. The first one of the day for the Wolfhounds. Patient build-up play. Knew exactly what they were doing. And Sophie Barrett, so dangerous from close range, twisting, turning, and getting them on the scoreboard. We get an alternative angle for that try. Barrett does so well not to go to ground, stays alive.
Yeah, super. And you can see Kate Jordan on the latch as well, helping her over.
And this, it's a simple one, made on the training ground. India Daly at the back. The forwards do the hard work and she just sits in the back seat and gets the try.
That's always the way. The hookers have the easiest job after the throw, they come in. But if you look closely here, you can see the likes of Poppy, Garvey and Maeve O'Leary and Nisha at the front really guiding that maul, pulling them, getting the feel whether to go right and left, and India Daly spots that gap and breaks away.
No, they're, yeah, no, I mean, decisions are pretty clear. Like.
And this is their third of the day. Dana O'Brien spotted her winger, Maggie Boylan, safe as houses, takes it and scores in the corner.
Yeah. It's a really well worked try as well. There was some good phases before that, but for Dana to spot Maggie out, and it's that inside out step to score in the corner, really good play by the back line.
And Edinburgh got on the board themselves through Kat Moody. (17-7) the score, 3 tries to 1. And of course there was other games on today, and we'll show you the highlights of Glasgow versus Britain Thunder. And they're coming up just now.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's the last game of this season's Celtic Challenge. Britain Thunder against the Glasgow Warriors. Kicks off at 12:15. Just short. Look to go wide.
Still playing advantage.
Electing to kick, knowing that they will come back.
Backwards.
Worth trying something. There's Davis. That's play on. Tromans picks this one. Oh, super defence. That's McNamara there. Great tackle. Marshall. Rogers with the carry. Some serious pressure on the Glasgow Warriors line. There's Robin Davis. Good defence again. Great continuity though from Britain Thunder, keeping the ball alive. Trying to get the ball wide. Mugabe, can she free her hands? Yes, she can. And it's Hing out there. What a well-worked score from Britain Thunder. Right through the phases. Error-free, super defence from the Warriors. But in the end, it just cracked.
Yeah, excellent patience there from such a young group. You know, this just shows how much they've developed from the start of the season. Like, they're looking for those extra passes now. They're not just trying to like die in the contact. So really well worked try, but credit to Glasgow. That defence was awesome.
Yeah, we can see the replay. Mugabe did well there. She knew. She swapped the ball from one hand. They could free her hands then to get the ball to Eleanor Hing. Second try of the Celtic Challenge. She's looked lively from under 20s international. No jumper. They don't like to drive this one. They want to carry it. Cutting back in and not going to be stopped. Hannah Black, top try scorer for Britain Thunder, with 4 before today's clash. You can make that 5.
Yeah, what an excellent play there. You know, Glasgow were expecting that more, so they were fully committed to that. But to play off it and put Hannah Black into space, you know, she's always going to step up that foot. She's always going to try and find those gaps. So really, really good play by Britain there.
I'm guessing Glasgow thought, well, here comes another drive. You've got to keep defences on their toes and figure things out on field.
Yeah, definitely, and it's having these multiple options is what will put these defences under pressure, and having the maturity to like, right, we're here, let's go for it, is just an awesome development for this team.
A pick and
No
go.
hands red, good work.
Glasgow going to attempt to spread it because they have numbers, or will the forwards want this one? Oh, they do want it wide. Shifts on from McNamara to Flynn. Can she get the ball down? The answer is yes. Great finish from Nicole Flynn. That last ball from McNamara, putting a fellow centre over. Glasgow's opening try, well worked.
Yeah, Glasgow will be really, really happy with that, but I think it's just coming down to Brython's discipline here. Like, the only reason they're in their 22 is through real discipline, so it's really important now that Jess is giving the message that when they get back up there, that it's going to have to be squeaky clean to get on the right side of the ref.
But they will be under pressure at scrum time. They need to switch on.
Hold there, hold
Quick
there.
ball at the base. Rogers, Marshall, ball out wide, stretching over. Hannah Lane, second try for the North Walian in Brython Thunder colours. Great response.
Yeah, definitely. And Brython are wasted no time. They're just letting that ball do the work, moving it, quick hands, getting it to the fast people on the outside. You couldn't want anything more.
Makes things a lot harder playing with width for your outside half who's kicking a goal. All of Hannah Marshall's conversions are going to be from the touchline. But she won't complain, I'm sure. Just making it a little bit harder for Brython Thunder to get set at ruck time as Robin Davis carries. A little bit isolated. The ball away. Out the back door that time. There's Bluck. Pace onto the ball. Oh, super by Heelan. Heelan backs herself. She's going under the sticks. Well, we wanted tries on this glorious afternoon at Parker Scarlett. And there's a bonus point score for Brython Thunder. What a finish.
Yeah, they gave her an inch there and she took a mile. What awesome work as well. Keep the ball in two hands, keep the defence guessing. And she took the right option there to just absolutely back herself and go for it.
Well, I'm looking forward to see this replay. You can't question the intent. And when things come off, really worth watching. Just decides to straighten there. And he said ball in two hands. It just makes the defender think then, Natalia, that she's going to pass. No real dummy, just ghosted through.
Yeah, I definitely think Mary McDonald there, she bit up too hard, like on the outside, which gave Gabby Heenan that space to cut back in.
Step, red step. Advantage.
Offside again.
10 red.
Thunder in midfield. Hannah Marshall, the guilty party. Bravery again by Ainsworth going for the gap.
Back.
They know they've got a penalty. You might as well try something and try. They do. Emily Normal over in the corner. Again, another super work try from the Scottish outfit.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about speed of ball plenty of times now, but that's what can kill defences, especially if they're not working hard or like they're overfolding, underfolding, and it makes those decisions so much harder when teams are just constantly coming at you, and that's what Glasgow did really, really well here.
Yeah, Cathy Ainsworth has got to take some credit. The 10 as well. She's taken a lot the ball to the line, hasn't she? Put the Thunder defence under pressure.
Hold there, please, Blue.
Marshall has had a warning. If she's offside again, she will have 10 minutes to contemplate things in the bin. Super line-out for Glasgow again. Here comes the drive. Well, they break away. It's Bell that's broken away. Who's got the ball? Glasgow still have it. Done well there. Got to time your runs. Oh, super pickup from her toes. I think that was Poppy Fletcher, was it? Great pickup. The ball low, very low at her feet, but it's a third try for the Warriors. They're right back in this clash.
Yeah, it was a really, really solid maul. There wasn't quite going anywhere, but because Brython had committed so many numbers to the maul, that space was just on the outside of it. And just build it up from that, they were able to get the ball out quick. And what a pickup that is. Off the shoelaces.
Who said props have no skill? Look at that, in abundance from Poppy Fletcher. There's Gwen Crabb, hat-trick up in Glasgow. Been kept quiet today. Singleton spots it. Oh, the ball would have gone through the hands of Rogers there. Good hands now. Hing. Oh, has she held on to that? Yes, she has. And Catherine Jones going over, I think it was. I thought she dropped it, but she's smiling. She knows she hung on to that one. Just come back into the Thunder setup, been out with injuries, getting back into the swing of things in rugby, and what a finish.
Yeah, and what a spot from Siren as well. She saw the space out there, and great take from Meg Webb there. She's such a dangerous attacking player, and she'll always put people into space, but they've definitely been sharing the sticky spirit between the two changing rooms.
McDonald, and that's been tapped down. And that Poppy Fletcher again with a trundle. Great carry. Back to the rugby. Bell with a line. Mugabe with a good solid tackle. But it's Glasgow now on the front foot. Long ball out from McNamara. Oh, good fend by Proctor. Once, twice, and over she goes. Super try from Glasgow, and their left winger, all of Proctor, has some involvement with the Harlequins. But this one is a try for Glasgow. What a response.
Yeah, I definitely think that Brithon kept all of their players on the blind side, and the space was screaming on for the Glasgow on the left there. I think it was brilliant how they took that opportunity, and especially for all the Proctor, they just a cheeky end to keep pushing it and really, really backing herself to go for that try line.
Yeah, of course. But
A double fend, but you really must make those tackles. Thunder do well there just to maintain possession in the wide channel. There's Jess Rogers with a carry. Accuracy now needed. Sowell again. Davis finds Hannah Lane. Has she got the gas to finish this for the Thunder? It's close, but no foot in touch. Hannah Lane crosses for what could be a crucial try for Brithon Thunder. Her second try of the...
And we're back for the second half. Edinburgh making their way out of the Bective dressing room. Of course, Donnybrook shared by Old Wesley and Bective. Both back in the AIL now. Bective got promoted last season, and Wesley long timers in the AIL, and Edinburgh back onto the pitch now. And we're just waiting for the Wolfhounds to arrive.
Here they come. Raise your voices and welcome back the Wolfhounds.
And here come the Wolfhounds. Dan O'Brien leading them out. And Fiona, a good first half of rugby. The wind creating a bit of havoc at times, but 17-7 the score. The Wolfhounds in the driving seat.
Yeah, some good scores we can see there. I think Linda Zhugang has come on. She's probably on to sort out that scrum. I think they were under pressure with Edinburgh at times, and I think the Wolfhounds certainly would have discussed that breakdown as well, and how they need to stop Edinburgh stealing the ball, especially the back rowers. They've been exceptional. So there's a couple areas both teams will be looking at, but certainly I think we had some good tries in the first half, and hopefully the wind has died down a bit for that line out as well.
Ramsey will get us back underway here. And Linda Zhugang in. What a player to be able to bring off the bench. The most experienced international on both sides today.
Yeah, she's a class act, and we said it in that first half. Edinburgh were getting a little bit dominant in that area. Sophie Barrett was brilliant in the loose, but to have someone like Linda come on just to anchor up that scrum will add to the game, and super exit as well there by Dana. She'll
have that scrum under lock and key, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I'd say she's ready to get back out. We spoke about, you know, the heartache of that World Cup and how Ireland went out, so getting to put on the boots and getting out and having a competitive match, she'll be excited for this one.
And rugby is a 23 player game these days. The bench as important as the starters.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely huge, and we see in all matches nearly the impact of the bench is when it's a close game is what will get you that win, whose bench can come on and do a job. And certainly I think both teams have strong benches and will unleash them, I'd imagine, in that 50-55 minute mark.
Ramsey gets rid of it, but Kinlan's there. Vicky Elms Kinlan takes on the defenders, still on her feet, does well to get the ground. Aoibhinn Riley to O'Brien. Jordan takes it up. Aoibhinn Riley looked like a knock on, and she's punished. Just one that kind of slid off her fingertips.
Yeah, so unlucky. You don't fault her. She put her head up. She could see there was a little gap there, and she was trying to break through. It was a good carry by Jordan then, and you could see the clear out there by Barrett. Certainly it created a space, but just a tiny little bit of a hand in there to get it over.
Riley maybe thinking ahead that time.
Yeah, and I think it could be McLean that's it's gone off, and we see Linda has gone into loose head. I thought she might have gone in to have a crack at tight head, but they put her into loose head here. So
versatile.
Yeah, she's well able, but it's going to be interesting here now to see if that scrum can get a little bit more solid.
It is steady from the Wolfhounds, a lot better this time around. Phillips through the middle.
Second bite.
O'Leary not happy about something. Not been allowed to compete at the breakdown.
She's had 2 or 3, and I can see the frustration in her because he seems to be giving it quicker on the other side, but she's latched on and she's pulling the ball and she's looking at him asking him, why can't you give me a penalty?
But they'll have a line out in a really tasty position out on the full.
Yeah, that's got to be frustrating for Ramsey there, because it was brought back inside and she got a really good boot in it, and we spoke about that wind and how strong it is, and certainly it carried it straight out there, which gives the Wolfhounds a good chance to get that maul formed again.
And O'Leary takes it at the line out. They've got options here. Jordan storming onto the ball. Barrett already got 1 try. Always makes meters post contact. They smell blood here, do the Wolfhounds, in search of the bonus point. O'Leary, she'd love a try. So close, just about a metre short. Garvey goes low. Looks like she's held up. And a great defensive effort from Edinburgh. I think it was the centre, Phillips, who got underneath that one.
Yeah, really good by Rachel Phillips. You can see Poppy Garvey made the decision to carry. She saw a slight gap, but how Phillips gets her body around the ball, and you can see how she pulls her on her side, and it's very, very hard then for Poppy Garvey to ground that ball in that position. Brilliant defence.
And it'll be goal line dropout for Edinburgh. But the Wolfhounds starting the second half with intent.
Yeah, look, you can see what they're trying to do. They're really trying to, when they're attacking, they're trying to up the tempo. It's quick movement by Riley. She's really trying to move that ball, and unfortunate not to get the score there, because I do feel like there were probably numbers outside, but Poppy Garvey decided she could have easily scored as well. It was brilliant defence, but certainly I would imagine at half time Kieran Dave discussed tempo and bringing that tempo, that high pace to Edinburgh, because they will not be able to handle it if they can keep up that pace.
Especially going into that last quarter, it's often the time where teams like the Wolfhounds can pull away.
Yeah, and they have in the past scored some magnificent tries, and we spoke about that bench to come on as well, so they'll add to it as also.
Poppy Garvey receives that one. Bowles to Dalton. Vicky Elms-Kinlan does well to stay in play. Here's Daly striding onto the ball. They're coming around the corner. O'Leary. Garvey. The woman from the west. A couple of metres out. Here's Barrett again. And Barrett, she can't be stopped. Her second of the day, and the bonus point in the bag.
Yeah, super carry. It's the height she gets. She obviously fixates on that outside shoulder. She attacks it and finds the space to get over for the try. And to be fair to her, every time she grounds the ball, I'm looking at it's straight down, and she knows exactly where to go. But Maeve Ogue in that passage as well had a couple of big carries also there.
And Barrett, she's been on the fringe of that Irish setup for a long time now. And with a performance like this, if Scott Beeman's watching,
Yeah, certainly in the front row. I cannot. We never have enough front rows. I feel like in this country. Certainly, we've seen in the last couple of years the likes of Siobhan McCarthy. She's moved from the second row, back row, and put herself into that front row. But someone like Sophie Barrett, who saw Simon Gray earlier getting player of the game. They're there. It's just getting that rugby and getting the scrums in. You know, you can be unbelievable in the loose, but you've got to be able to scrummage and you've got to be able to do your set piece. So certainly games like this will give them a chance to get into it.
You need to be able to do the nitty gritty, the hard graft, and Sophie Barrett can certainly do that.
Yeah, she's just a brilliant ball carrier.
And O'Brien added the extra, so it's 24-7 now. O'Brien gets rid of that one. But the fullback goes charging forward, brings them up past halfway.
Take him back in.
Ramsey drills it low. And on the feet of the Wolfhounds player, maybe the feet of Eve Higgins that time. But static at the moment from Edinburgh.
Yeah, it's all very readable. The Wolfhounds are able to just come up straight in that defence and go. There's, you know, I spoke about those out the backs that are very usable, but they need to connect a little bit better to make things harder for that defence to go at.
Too one-dimensional at the moment from Edinburgh. Easy for the Wolfhounds to figure out. Ramsey maybe running out of ideas. Has to take it up herself. The Wolfhounds satisfied just to make their tackles.
No, nothing.
But McRae does really well that time. Gets it loose to Walker. Stewart comes onto it, and this is better from Edinburgh. Some go forward. But there's hands on that one. Eve Higgins, the centre, wins the penalty. And she wants to go quickly. Eve Higgins is not waiting around. And Eve Higgins, try time. Or not quite. What a last ditch tackle. But Eve Higgins, she survived the contact. I don't know how she got back up and scored that try, but Eve Higgins made a strong stuff.
She'd only one outcome there, and that was scoring that try. She had her eye quick tap and she got all the way. Unfortunately, was probably you thought it might have been had with that last minute try tackle, but Eve Higgins has made a break. She just got up and got herself over the line again. But I think the referees might have a look at this.
And Haddo felt the full effect of that one.
Yeah, and as I said, the touch judges come in to have a chat with the referee, maybe about the tackle take or the height of that.
She did all she could to stop the tackler, but in the process, maybe on the dangerous side.
Yeah, I think so. You could hear the gasp from the crowd, but as I said, Eve Higgins is made of steel stuff. It's Haddo that's down in the corner, and Eve was able to get up, obviously release the ball and go over the line again.
And Eve Higgins goes again. If she did feel the contact, she didn't let the fans know.
No, it's Eve Higgins, as I said, she's made of stern stuff, but the ability in the first place to see that no one was in the backfield, that she was out of position, Haddo was out of position as well, and
heads up rugby,
you can see it. She just kept her eye on it. She won that penalty and wanted to get going straight away. I spoke about tempo, and that's what she wanted to bring, that pace, really put them on the back foot.
O'Brien tight to the touchline. And it's a yellow card for the fullback on her Edinburgh debut. And probably a fair result.
Yeah, I think so. You can, obviously she's coming across at that angle, but you've got to dip the hips, you've got to get lower in that tackle, and it was probably, not a clear wrap either. So unfortunate she was injured, but a yellow card on top of that as well, which will hurt her team.
And O'Brien having plenty of time to mull over this one. Didn't quite have the legs. 29-7, a good attempt, but just a little short.
Yeah, you can see she's comfortable out on that side. It was very unfortunate, but it was really good boot of the ball. It just hit that bottom post. And here we can see again the replay of that tackle. Eve Higgins is looking up. She thinks she's over. We can see Aoibhinn Riley as well on the inside, but Haddo just head on head and really dangerous type of tackle. I think she might have even been lucky with that yellow card. It could have been a lot worse.
No luxury of a TMO here today, so Haddo might benefit from that.
Yeah, there's no wrap even either, and she came out worse for wear herself.
The Wolfhounds have a pep in their step. Maeve O'Leary, determined as ever. But Edinburgh make things messy, and they get the steal. And Jugang just showing what she can do in the loose as well, linking up with Maeve O'Leary.
Yeah, that was a really good line break. I think Maeve will probably be frustrated again that they were turned over at that breakdown again.
She was too quick for the support that time.
Oh, I don't know if you could say that. I feel like just in how she fell on the ground, she needed to stay and wait for support a little bit, and she'll know that herself. But she's been everywhere today, and how she's played, and just every time I look up and they have an attack, she's there looking for the ball. She's really hungry to carry that ball, and unfortunately there, just in how she fell, the support not there, they got turned over. But that's an area of the game Edinburgh have been really excelling in that breakdown area.
Of course, we were talking earlier, Maeve O'Leary, the captain of the winning Munster side this season, but she personifies that stand up and fight motto, doesn't she?
Absolutely. As I said, I've coached her. Everything about her is just loves the game. She enjoys it. She wants to fight to the end. Not the biggest person on the pitch, but certainly has got the biggest hits. I've seen her come in and give some massive hits, and also her footwork and how she carries. Always hungry to get involved.
Emily Love transitioning from a back three player to a scrum half. So a huge opportunity for her in this Celtic Challenge competition.
Yeah, she's done well so far. You can see she's there a couple of times. You can see the difference in speed of Aoibhinn O'Reilly. She's already there waiting to move it, but certainly as Love transitions, you can see her pass is superb. It's just trying to get that ball out a little bit quicker, I think.
Well, Aoibhinn Riley, she's been around the block. A seasoned international at this rate.
Yeah, she's just her speed, and when she's sniping, even how she looks at the game, her awareness of all those around her, and even for, we love those barky nines. She probably isn't always giving out, but if you look down, she's getting her pack to move. You know that they want to get there. Her instructions are clear and they're buying in.
Of course, plenty of top quality scrum halves in Irish rugby at the moment. Emily Lane captaining the Clovers in the first game, Aoibhinn Riley there as well. Katie Whelan has been in and around that picture too, so there's plenty of talent in that number 9 jersey.
Definitely, and Jade Gaffney, a girl I coach in Old Belvo, is the 9 on the bench today, and she's someone as well who has such good ability, a young player, and we're blessed with 9s at the minute.
And O'Connor comes in on that ball, does the fullback. Aoife Dalton floats one over the top. Vicky Elms-Kinlan steps back inside. Aoibhinn Riley, quick ball. You can see they're trying to insert that tempo into their attack now, the Wolfhounds. Some tired bodies on the Edinburgh side. Aoibhinn Riley goes herself, but again isolated at the breakdown. The repeated storyline for the Wolfhounds. And Edinburgh tried to move the ball quickly, but they get the penalty. And again, those one-off runners going by themselves, getting isolated and being punished in the process.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, I think, for especially when you're in that scoring zone 5-6 metres out. You've just got to get your support, get your shape, and make sure, especially because they've been turned over so many times. But I think there will be frustration around how the ball carrier is working on the ground. They're kind of going into contact and being happy to stay there. So that's an area they'll have to work on as the tournament goes on, because I would imagine, we don't have the exact stats here on, but I would imagine they've been turned over 7 to 8 times at that breakdown area themselves, and that will frustrate coaches because yes, they've scored 5 tries, but they've been good in attack.
But the Wolfhounds steal that line out. Jordan doesn't mind the contact. They go right. They have numbers here. Dalton. It's actually Stacey Flood who's come in, wearing the number 23 jersey. But again, a miscue in the back line coughs the possession straight back up to Edinburgh. And errors from red zone entries will be a black mark in the report after this game for the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, look, they'll obviously be happy if they can get the win. They're 5 tries to 1 now, and some of the attacking has been unbelievably good at times. It's just, I suppose, if you are to be critical around those areas, it will be a frustration for them and for the management, because in general they're normally excellent in that area. Especially last season, I thought they were very, very good in protecting that ball. But it is the first game of the tournament, so it will get better as it goes on. But it's definitely a work on for them.
Stacey Flood maybe came in for Robin O'Connor there, potentially.
Yeah, I think that's the change. We see Stacey is in that backfield there, but Robin seems to be on the pitch, so I think they might have pushed her out in to replace Maggie Boylan, maybe.
So Maggie Boylan, the try scorer, has left us, and Robin O'Connor shifts to the wing. Such a versatile backline player is Robin O'Connor. Played a little bit of 12 for you in Belvedere this season. Started at fullback and now on the wing. Edinburgh, they've struggled in this second half to get into the game, and still those passes not going to hand. And the counter ruck is strong from the Wolfhounds. Eve Higgins scored the 5th try for her team, and Edinburgh just can't get out at the moment. Barrett, 2 tries to her name. The legs never tire. O'Leary fighting to get to ground. Smith. O'Brien crossfield yet again, but well covered by Walker. But Elms Kinlan tries her best to bundle her into touch, but the pressure told.
Yeah, very unlucky by Vicky Elms-Kinlan there. It's going to be an Edinburgh scrum, but she done so well to tackle her, get her feet and go for that, I suppose, poach herself. But unfortunately, the ball was loose and she knocked it on the ground there. But you can see what Dana, there was space out there, but with this wind it just held up a little bit extra than what it needed. It gave the chance for cover to come back, and we can see there we had Walker in that backfield and perfectly underneath it.
Brendan, have you got the time on the yellow?
And it could be an opportunity for Neil Alcorn to unload the bench. Plenty of options.
Yeah, he might do, but you know, when it's that first day kind of game back and you're trying to get people to connect together, certainly in the modern game, as you said, you do have to, you know, around that 55, 56 minute mark, you freshen things up. But I'd imagine he might let it go for another 10 minutes just to get those people connected.
Just to let things gel. For some of the girls, they've played plenty of rugby this season in the AIL, but for others who were involved in the World Cup, they've played very little.
Yeah, well, they haven't played any since the World Cup. They haven't played any matches, so they've just trained together. And obviously that's high performance centre. I'm sure there's training matches at a high level, but
game time is a different thing altogether.
Completely different, and especially when you're looking at building for those Six Nations games, you know, it's all about getting minutes under your belt, and I suppose comfortable in that horrible place that you need to go to in matches,
and testing partnerships and how they work on the field.
Yeah, and I think so, and we see some tried and tested. You've got Aveen, Riley Dana, and then you have the Eve Higgins and Aoife Dalton, but it's a chance for them to blend in with the pack around them, or those outside backs as well.
And it's a knock on, and here comes Stewart. Edinburgh need quick ball. Ramsey goes to ground, but again, the Wolfhounds get set. Lisa Brown is in for Edinburgh now, number 23. But again, very one-dimensional from Edinburgh, side to side. Getting no traction.
Yeah, they're almost running back into where the Wolfhounds are lined up as well, and their hips are kind of to the side, so it's easy to defend that.
And Eve Higgins gets a hand to that ball, but it lands on the right side from an Edinburgh perspective. But Edinburgh running out of ideas, throwing hopeless passes at the moment, and the Wolfhounds making their tackles, doing their job, and Ramsey just decides to get it off the park.
Keep going now, yeah. Good.
But the Wolfhounds send it back. Ramsey again gets past Stacey Flood.
Off a foot, play.
Sophie Barrett that time goes hard and low with the tackle.
Just around the neck there.
And high.
Yeah, just slightly kind of got up around the collar area, and you could see the referee kind of was looking at playing on maybe, but certainly it just slid up, and an unfortunate there tackle. You'll see it here on the screen. It's just that swinging arm, and if you get anything near the neck area now, they have to call it.
But from an Edinburgh perspective, a bit of a struggle at the moment.
Yeah, in attack, you have to give credit to Edinburgh in how they're handling, defensively, how they're turning the ball over to breakdown. But certainly in attack, it just seems a little bit lateral. They're getting into their shape, but maybe a little bit deep, because this Wolfhounds defence, when it comes up, it's cutting out those passes. And even when the ball goes out the back, it's very, very readable, and they're
very
struggling. Central, they're struggling to get more than 5-6 phases away, and probably just end up kicking the ball away and giving it back because they're not getting over that gain line.
And with Aoife Dalton leading the defensive line, it's very hard to break down.
Yeah, she's been superb in her reading of the hits today, and even just bringing everyone along up with her in that centre.
Elms Kinnan makes the tackle on the outside. O'Leary goes hunting for that ball, but penalised. I'd like to see that one again.
I don't think he likes Maple O'Leary at the breakdown, because there's been 3 that I thought she was definitely on, and certainly there he's not giving her that. But she's probably going to be frustrated. But I'd imagine what he's seen is maybe her hands were on the ground before she went to the ball, which is, he's right in the action. He can probably see that a little bit closer. But if I was Maeve Og, I'd certainly be asking him, what do you want more to see from me, or what can I do better? Because there's been a couple of times where he really felt she was on that. Certainly don't see anything wrong with that there, in my opinion, but
she's been the culprit in his eyes on a couple of occasions.
Yeah, definitely, and he doesn't seem to be giving her. But your prediction of emptying the bench is right. We see a good few changes here.
It looks like Avian Riley's taking a knock as well. Seems to be limping, does the scrum half. And a good opportunity maybe for your Belvedere scrum half, Jade Gaffney, to get in on the action.
Yeah, she's a great player, so it's going to be an exciting time for her getting in there. I know she's been training hard, and certainly having Aveen ahead of her, someone to look up to and try and play off, has been brilliant for her. But she'll try and bring that speed, that tempo that we've seen Aveen bring throughout the game. And
it looks like Dana O'Brien has left us as well. Quiva Malloy, another Wicklow woman coming into the game, actually started her rugby journey in Gorey in Wexford.
Yeah, she's a great player. I remember her playing back row years ago. She's moved up to front row, probably played a bit similar like myself. Really good physical player and likes to get in the mix of things.
A huge tackle in the middle.
No.
Eve Higgins, yet again. Stewart makes a bit of ground. Ramsey tips it on.
Alex Stewart has been everywhere today, to be fair to her. She's doing some big work and big carrying work in there as a 7.
In particular has been very impressive for the Scottish side.
Yeah, they have been brilliant. And there
now
we see
the Wolfhounds do get the penalty at the breakdown, and it was Bowles that time.
Yeah, super. He could not give that one. She was clearly in over the ball, but it was brilliant by Bowles. She waited for that player to fall on her back and latched onto it to give the penalty to the Wolfhounds. And we can see maybe Stacey Flood might be in at 10.
Moving across.
Yeah, she's taking the kicks now, but it looks like she's sitting herself up in there as well as first receiver.
Is this as much a look for Neil Alcorn to see how Stacey adapts to this 10 role if something were to happen to Donna O'Brien?
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. It's certainly in chatting with even ex-players. It's an area of the game. We think Stacey, she's played a little bit there, but we've seen her more so at 12 and full back. But certainly as a 10, her pass is just unbelievable.
5 tries already for the Wolfhounds. They'd love another. Flood. Loose ball. O'Connor on the wing now. Gaffney. Jordan has been really impressive as well, the second row. Throwing her weight around. O'Leary spinning. Jugang, the most experienced international on the pitch today. Gaffney. Flood brings in her captain Dalton. Flood again in that out half position. And Amy Larn was so close to gathering that one, but just slides out of the breadbasket at the crucial time.
Yeah, so close. It was a nice little chip over the top. I don't think Stacey Flood was expecting the ball from Jade Gaffney there, and it was just a little dink over, and brilliantly watched by the Edinburgh full back, but it was Amy Larn just inches away from getting her first try there.
And O'Leary, the goal line dropout does invite the attack straight back on. So the Wolfhounds apply the pressure again. O'Connor, they've marshalled her well today. O'Leary does well to get her hands free and find Malloy. Garvey. Higgins now to Flood, but her and Amy Larn weren't on the same hymn sheet there.
Yeah,
got their wires crossed.
I thought there might have been a slight knock on there, but I'm sure they'll just play on anyway. The referee didn't spot it, but you could see Stacey was drifting. She probably wanted Amy Larn to switch in with her. Amy was looking for it on the outside.
But the Wolfhounds still have the ball. The referee didn't spot that knock on. Jugang. Come back down this left side. Eve Higgins. Knocking on the door. Malloy. Quick hands. But Edinburgh doing well to make things messy, but the penalty comes.
Yeah, they've been good, as I said, in that breakdown area, but I think it was probably a little bit one-dimensional there from the Wolfhounds as well. I thought they might have gone wider sooner.
And Flood throws the pass, but I don't think anyone was ready for that.
No, unfortunately, Claire Bowes, you can see she's frustrated with herself, but look, I think it was the correct decision. Stacey Flood saw there was space out there, it was a good pass, it just didn't go into the breadbasket, and you could see out in those wings Vicky Els McKinnon was hugging that touchline, so it would have been just a straight hands to her in the corner.
More subs coming onto the pitch.
2-7-9-15. 2-7-9-15.
Coming in the pack, it looks, for the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, I think we see Cleena O'Connor on there from Blackrock. and also in that back row we've Aoife Corcoran, so it's a great day for her as well. She's an exceptional player to watch, and we can see with Edinburgh there's been a lot of changes, and you know, for her first start at full back, I know she got the yellow card, but I thought she was safe enough under that high ball back there and definitely looked to counter attack a few times.
Would I be right in saying it's a Wolfhounds debut for Aoife Corcoran?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah, it certainly is. So she's an exciting player at that back row, good player to watch and see how she gets on.
The scrum has been evenly contested, but you could say that Edinburgh have a slight upper hand at times.
Yeah, I think in the first half, I think it's probably not so much in the second half.
Dugang is the stabiliser.
She's come in and probably did anchor it down. We see her there now with Caoimhe Malloy, and it's a whole new front row because we've Maeve Clengan in there at hooker as well. But certainly I think Edinburgh in that first half really put pressure under the Wolfhounds and really tried to go after them.
A change at scrum half for Edinburgh as well. Pip Benson. The Wolfhounds will want to keep them here. No easy escape. Malloy hungry to find the ball. They clear their lines and they find touch.
Yeah, that's a good kick by Ramsey. Real strike at the ball to get her. You know, they were under massive pressure there. They were throwing the ball around in the dead ball area. I was a bit nervous, but certainly that kick is a beauty and it gets them up. Yes, they have to defend the line-out, but it's certainly an area where they're comfortable in getting people up in the air and contesting this, and it's a change pack now as well.
O'Leary might be the option at the line-out, but Edinburgh get up and they steal it.
Yeah, there was a mislift, so Maeve Ogue was being lifted at the front, but someone behind forgot to get in for that lift.
Somebody was lacking somewhere. It's been a difficult second half for Edinburgh. Struggled to really get out of their own neighbourhood.
Yeah, I think both teams are kind of struggling to get over the gain line, put some faces together. We can see it, and it's just resorting to a kick game a lot in that second half. And maybe
that comes to the cohesion you were talking about earlier on. Both sides have unloaded their benches now, and some new combinations out on the pitch.
Yeah, and that's it. It's just getting those, you know, working together and seeing where the space is. But certainly you have to say both defences in the second half have tightened up ship, and both teams are finding it very hard to break down, especially in those internal areas.
I'll be asking you shortly for your player of the match, but who are your options at the moment? Who's impressed you?
There's been some brilliant performances, I think, in the pack. If you're looking at Edinburgh, you know, Tawaki was unbelievable there in that first half, but certainly for the Wolfhounds, you'd have to talk about Sophie Barrett getting her 2 tries. Poppy Garvey has been very, very busy, you know, getting her hands on the ball, as if Maeve Ogue coming up with big tackles and big hits all game. But yeah, there's a few in the mix, and obviously Eve Higgins, Aoife Dalton in that backfield. Robin O'Connor is someone that's been impressing me, and Dan O'Brien's kicking. So there's a few up there, you know. But
I'll give you 5 more minutes to stew over that one.
Yeah, but look, I think there has been errors, there has been mistakes, but
that's only natural first round of a new competition.
Yeah, but certainly I think how players have gone about it and the tries that are scored have been good to watch at times.
O'Connor again, the dancing feet. Robin O'Connor kicks it forward, and here comes the chase. But Edinburgh do well to get numbers back. And broken play. Penalty advantage to Edinburgh. And they had numbers out wide, but the passes didn't go to hand.
Yeah, it's just frustration. You know, they can see the space. They're just a couple of errors are letting them down.
And tired bodies out there now as well.
Look at this counter-attack from Robin O'Connor. I mean, her first start at full back, I think she's gone into that backfield as well when Stacey Flood went into 10, so she's gone back into full back, and just her footwork, good decision to kick, but to get up and make that tackle as well. She's had an outstanding game so far.
It's very sporadic for me. A lot of them are kind of technical ones. I don't really see a trend against them. So, no, yeah.
Leinster's Young Player of the Year as well, Robin O'Connor.
It's not a trend, but
yeah, she's an exciting talent, and you know, when you're involved in the club game, you're always kind of looking out for players on different teams, who's going to step up. And certainly for the last year or so, any time I've ever seen Robin in action, be it sevens, she's just so nice to watch. But from a coach's perspective, she's one of the best players I've ever coached. Her attitude, everything about her ability to learn, she just enjoys rugby. She looks like she's out there having fun.
That Irish call-up is only around the corner, we feel.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Obviously, she's capped at sevens level, and she's playing a bit at sevens, but certainly when you're looking at her in that backfield at 15, she looks natural back there.
Very comfortable. Also, a player that suffered a heartbreaking injury, Hannah Clark from the West, a brilliant player that unfortunately won't be involved in this competition, but she's been impressive as well anytime she's got the ball.
She's a winger, and I was really looking forward to seeing her involved, and unfortunately she got injured just before the tournament and will be out for a while. But look, that's sport, isn't it? It is, and she's going to be a player that's going to be back better and stronger. But what a scrum there by the Wolfhounds. We're giving out about the scrum, saying how good Edinburgh are, but that was just real show of power from Zhugang and also from Malloy.
And a little under 9 minutes left to play here, and the Wolfhounds go to the corner. Eve Higgins and Aoife Dalton having a word with each other.
Yeah, I think they'll have to make this, like, I'm looking at the wind, the rain, it's after coming on a bit strong there in the last 30 seconds, so they'll certainly have to go to the front, try and make this a little bit easier for themselves, which is what they do.
It's not the type of conditions for expansive rugby under the jumper. Let them all go to work, but Edinburgh defend it well. But penalty.
Yeah, I think there was stuff going on in the middle of the line out there. There was a little lift in the air, and certainly I think the maul in particular for the Wolfhounds, they'll be happy with that.
Same again.
They'll go again. They might see something, they might try and change it up, but certainly, as I said, with the wind, with the weather like this, they just need speed, get in and win that ball.
perfect.
Knocked on at the line out. And Edinburgh will get the scrum. And some unforced errors today that will need to be worked on ahead of the Irish Derby next week against Clovers.
Yeah, that's going to be a cracking game, two good teams, but look, I think weather as well, you have to take that into account. First game back, connections building, you know, a lot of these girls haven't played together. Yes, we've seen some Irish partnerships in there, but certainly from a lot of different clubs, and it's great to see that they are actually connected, but certainly the breakdown is an area they'll have to work on, and they'll be frustrated with their, I suppose, their conversion rate for how many times they did in the second half in particular enter that Edinburgh 22.
Big scrum coming up, straight down it goes. We'll have a reset.
It's gone down the far side.
Yeah, I think he's the referees are going to say, I'm going to come over and have a look over on this side. I thought that might have been a Wolfhounds penalty there, but look, he's keeping an eye on Caoimhe Malloy anyway there and seeing what she's up to.
He says to his touch judge, you look after that side, I'll look after this side.
You'll always get away with one when the referee's on the other side, so we'll see here, are they both on their best behaviour?
No dark arts allowed.
None.
Here comes the squeeze, but Edinburgh do well.
Yeah, they don't well.
Get it straight out. Might need to alleviate the danger. Wolfhounds coming at the counter ruck. but a little bit too eager.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I think the referee gave the penalty for taking someone past the ball. The ball was probably out of the ruck, but it was because they'd cleared out and created that hole for themselves.
And they've missed touch, have Edinburgh. Bit of a skew ways kick that time. O'Leary. Her energy never falters. Vicky Elms-Kinlan comes in off her wing. The Wolfhounds will come again. Caoimhe Malloy this time. They want another. But the wind may be pushing that one out of the hands. But it went backwards, says the referee.
I don't know how it went backwards.
I'm not too sure about that one.
But look, they'll
from a
take
Wolfhounds
that.
perspective, they'll take it. Flood links with Dalton. Gaffney back again, says the referee. But Edinburgh stayed composed and won the penalty.
Wow, that is just unbelievable. They're just Mervyn, just to get down that low. It's like if you're trying to coach the perfect body height to not be moved off a ball, that was it. It was an exceptional. She waited in the backfield, waited for that player to turn her back and latched onto the ball. Brilliant turnover.
And now I'm coming back to you, Fiona. Player of the match time.
Player of the match time. For me, I think her first start at 15. She has been unbelievable in that starting role. She's had so many runs, really good meters made, and just securing that backfield whenever Edinburgh did attack. There weren't many times, but certainly her attacking was good. For me, my player of the match is Robin O'Connor.
And Robin O'Connor, the player of the match. She gets a thumbs up from her club coach.
Yeah, she was just good today, and look, I have to you have to give credit to the pack as well. A lot of the tries were scored in there. I'm a prop, so I normally give it to an old fellow.
Sophie Barrett was definitely in the run.
Sophie Barrett was brilliant today. Just scrum time, I suppose there were things didn't go to plan, but certainly I thought Poppy Garvey was very busy, and I would imagine Maeve Ogue is up there with about 25 carries today. She was every. But Robin O'Connor in the backfield, just her footwork, her first start, and she just looked like a natural back there. And it's good for Irish rugby to have another 15 as well.
And Amy Larn builds up ahead of steam. Just outside the 22 are the Wolfhounds. Flood gets blocked down by the centre, Phillips, but it was a knock on in the process. So it's a scrum to the Wolfhounds. Not long left here, a little over 2 minutes.
Yeah, things are getting a bit kind of sloppy, I suppose, in that weather. The last probably kick through wasn't needed. I felt like there was numbers over, but Stacey made that decision, and just a couple of knockouts then on the ground. You can see the surface is with this rain, it's very slidey. You can see the props are smiling, but it's lighter. The rain is on the jersey, and you're ready to go. 2 minutes left, so hopefully this scrum will be as behaved as the last one.
Robin O'Connor, your player of the match, as announced by Fiona Hayes a couple of minutes ago. Maybe one last opportunity for the Wolfhounds to get try number 6. Maeve Ogue O'Leary from the number 8 position. Bounces off the scrum. Dugang, what an impact the 2 replacement front rows have made. And Linda Dugang, no one's stopping her. What a try.
Absolutely brilliant score. You know, it was just the leg drive, the ability, the awareness to know that she wasn't heading that tackle and keep driving through. And she's certainly someone that's come on in the second half. She's anchored down the scrum, but she's also come up with a few big carries, got over the gain line, and there we see a super score to finish up.
The definition of an impact sub.
Yeah, you knew we spoke about that bench beforehand, and there'd be frustration, I suppose, around that tackle that I think it was on it. You felt like she targeted the ball, but Linda's leg drive got her over and over that line.
Try for the Wolfhounds score by Linda Dulang.
And try number 6, 34-7 the score. And the Wolfhounds continue their winning streak against Edinburgh. And here's the try scorer again. Flood goes to Elmskinlan.
Extra roll.
But again, another breakdown penalty for Edinburgh.
Extra roll.
Yeah, and they're quick tapping it. They're no to try.
Can they finish with a flourish? The Scots. They look to go to width. Here's Bell. Has been starved of opportunities in the second half.
Is Wolfhounds 15, Robin O'Connor.
And that's that. 34-7 the score. The Wolfhounds start their reign with an impressive victory against Edinburgh. 6 tries in the process. And Robin O'Connor, your player of the match. And Fiona, a good way to start the competition.
Yeah, look, they'll be happy with those 6 tries. There's obviously areas they need to work on as well, but certainly I feel like some of the tries scored were from different areas. The maul was exceptional today. They fixed a couple of things in the scrum, and some players got some, there's new players that haven't played before that have gone out there and put in a big performance. We saw the likes of Stacey Flood, Linda Zhugang on the bench, but certainly the guys that started ahead of them were very, very good.
And we'll take you through the scores now, and Fiona will take you through the highlights.
Yeah, you can see here how the Wolfhounds, this was early on in the game, really good carry by Poppy Garvey here. How low, you can see the Wolfhounds shaping up. Sophie Bart just burst through a couple of defenders, and the ability and the awareness to do a turn and bounce and put that ball over the line. That was an exceptional start to start the game, and it showed the forward dominance in those carries. From this angle here, you can see Aveen Riley barking orders, telling everybody to get into that shape, and it's the footwork and the leg drive and the latch from Kate Jordan to spin her around and score. And I think that's what had these girls starting the game so high. It was just the gain line they were getting over. Unbelievable catch by Nisha Smith here, and India Daly just stays patient. She's in the back. You can see the little shift to the right. Maeve O'Leary is guiding it, and India Daly breaks away for that second try scored by the Wolfhounds. Real hard work by the forwards in this area, because as you can see, both players at the front of the maul are wrapping their arms around, trying to find that space and creating it in the defence of Edinburgh, and a good score in the end by India to get over. Certainly this is the 3rd try scored. An unbelievable carry again here. We see low Aveen, ball is presented, and look at Dan O'Brien here. Already had looked up to see there was space out on that wing where Maggie Boylan, Robin O'Connor on the inside waiting for that ball, but wasn't needed. Brilliant score with Maggie Boylan using that handoff to step from inside to out, and brilliant execution of a kick by Dan O'Brien. In the backfield, this is a really good angle, hands up, but constantly scanning across the pitch to see where that space is. The minute it was pulled back by Aveen Riley, you knew that Dana was going to score, and really good footwork on the ground by Maggie to get in the corner. But it was a great comeback, 3 tries down, and this Edinburgh team in that first half kept fighting around the 32-minute mark. You can see that the forwards were gradually trying to get space. They were getting over that guideline, but this quick succession of carries, really big carries here, and polished off in the end by Moody. But it was the speed, the tempo that the Wolfhounds defence couldn't handle. They are down low expecting it, but it's the clear out. Watch this clear out here, unbelievable. That creates this space. Another carry that we see from Stewart, and a beautifully pick up again by Moody to get that tempo and that scorer line in. And that was just before half time. Edinburgh got themselves back in the game a little bit. Yes, there was obviously you know, a couple of tries scored against them, but they stayed in the mix. And then we see here in this second half, the Wolfhounds came out on top. Who else but Sophie Barrett? Direct, carried it over, and one-handed placement of the ball again down in the ground. Really good, clear out, space. Poppy Garvey originally with the carry. She had some game today everywhere in the pitch, but it's the ability of the Wolfhounds to stay square, nice and low, get themselves down, and Sophie Barrett all game trudging over that try line to score. This was the 6th try. Unbelievable from Eve Higgins here. Quick tempo, pace, she adds it all. You can see India Daly's trying to keep up with her as well as the Edinburgh defence. Stewart is chasing her down. But the footwork, unfortunately, was a yellow card she got for that by Haddo. But Eve Higgins, like a brick wall, just places the ball and gets back up again. It's just the added pace. She's constantly looking to see if she can offload. And we see Haddo coming at full pace. Unbelievable by Higgins. Places the ball, not held in the tackle, and up to dive over. Unfortunately for Haddo, she did get a yellow card for this, but it was just unbelievable. And this try to finish off the game just when you thought it was over, 30 seconds left. Linda Zhugang came on and steadied up the scrum, and here we see that fight in that contact area to go over and score that last try of the game. Unbelievable stuff from her. A tired Edinburgh defence. They had defended really well all game. We see the front row subs on there of Wilson, and just Linda's leg drive kept her going. Ferry tried to tackle, target the ball, but Linda Zhugang over an unbelievable try to finish off the Wolfhounds. Footwork here is just immense, and the shift out to move the ball from the right hand to the left hand, and of course a prop loves diving over the line. I'm surprised she didn't have a celebration there to go with it. Yeah, we're just going to head down pitch side now shortly. Kieran is down below and is after getting his hands on man of the match, Robin O'Connor, with Kieran down on pitch side.
Start a new campaign with a victory.
Yeah, no, it's very exciting, you know, playing my first game for the Wolfhounds, and it was in tough conditions, like with the wind and the rain, but yeah, I think we did pretty well to secure the win, and we've got a good few things to tidy up on, so we'll work on that in the coming weeks. 6
tries in the victory. Neil will be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, I'm sure he will, and the majority of them are the forwards too, so the pack put in a lot of effort, and yeah.
And Fiona Hayes, your club coach, was up beside me in CoCom. She was delighted with your performance.
Thanks. Yeah, no, Fiona's been teaching us lots down in Belvo now the past couple of weeks, so I've definitely learned a lot from her, and yeah, thank you.
You've been one of the rising stars in Irish rugby over the last couple of seasons, impressing on the 7th circuit, and now you're taking your opportunity with the Wolfhounds.
Yeah, no, it's definitely nice to get back at the 15s again. I was playing a lot of 7s the past year, so it's nice to, you know, get stuck back into it. So.
And an Irish derby next week against loads of girls that you already know so well.
I know, yeah.
You must be looking forward to that one.
I'd say that'll be very competitive now. So.
That's all from me. Best of luck next week.
Thank you very much.
Starting your defence with a win, you must be pretty happy with that game.
Yeah, look, we knew Edinburgh would be tricky, and they came at us, especially in the first half and the second part of it. So yeah, look, really happy with how the girls performed.
And some of your bench had a real impact, especially in the front row.
Yeah, no, 100%. We looked at our kind of depth in the front row. We tried to make sure we give opportunities for everybody, and I think they came on, had a big impact.
And some of the young players, Robin there who got player of the match, her first game for the Wolfhounds starting at fullback, you must be delighted with her as well.
Oh yeah, look, Robin's been doing brilliant stuff for the past couple of years, we can all see, and the first couple of weeks of training she's been brilliant, and she deserves her opportunity, and she took it really well today.
And will you guys get to enjoy much of the Christmas before you're back on the training field?
Yeah, we've got a wee bit of downtime and then we're back to work again, so no, we're looking forward to the next game.
And it's a derby next week against the Clovers. They've been hot behind you over the last couple of seasons, so it's always an exciting game.
Oh yeah, very much so. Look, they had a great game today, a bit of a ding dong you could say. So look, we have to make sure we do our homework correctly, and looking forward to the derby.
Best of luck next week.
Thank you very much.
And that's all from us here today. Two wins for the two Irish clubs, the Clovers and the Wolfhounds. A brilliant way to start the first round. Round 2 is next week during the Christmas period, but we'd like to wish all our viewers a happy Christmas, and we'll see you again soon.